In that case, if you can clap, cheer, do all that stuff. Please welcome to stage Mary Mohan!
Good evening. Oh, that was very serious. You sure you're in the right place? So yes, my name is Mary, and no, I was never Mary in the bloody nativity play. Fix. It's really lovely to be here. I was a person who said I'm no longer from Coventry. I used to say about Coventry when I lived there that the thing I appreciated about it most was that it made you appreciate everywhere else so much more. I now live in Birmingham. Also supposed to be funny. I see what you did there. I live in a nice bit. I live in King's Heath. It's very queer, which is lovely. But the nicest thing I think about being in a posh place like Leamington is you have all those really, those luxuries, like regular bin collections. Anyway, so I seem to kind of travel through my life being accidentally funny, and very often having no idea what it was I did or why people are laughing. The first one I want to tell you about thankfully happened decades ago. I have changed my name since then. I've moved many times, and they will never find me. I was at a work conference. What makes this even more is this work conference was a Church of England work conference, okay? There were bishops there. And it was one of these kind of residential affairs where you all had to kind of arrive in the afternoon and you sit down for a meal together before you get on with the nitty-gritty. And it was a classy kind of place, I suppose. So classy that the starter was a little stainless steel dish with tinned grapefruit in it. And to crown it all, on the top there was a glacé cherry. Now personally, I think glacé cherries are an abomination. And so I did what I thought was the socially acceptable thing to do, because I didn't want to be that picky person who left something on the side of their plate on the first meal. All I can say is, when you're at a work conference and you have to work with a bunch of people you only vaguely know, including bishops, for the next 48 hours, at dinner, do not ask if anybody wants your cherry. The other one that ran and ran, quite frankly, for a long time in my life, was that situation, you're out with your mates at the pub and you're having pints, and you take maybe an irresponsibly large swig from your glass, and somebody will do or say something funny right at that moment, and you're like this, and I think you've got one of three options at this point. You either do the kind of responsible but boring thing and you dribble it slowly back in. However, you know you're not drinking that now because it has floaters in it. Or you do the funny thing, which you want to do, which is you spray the entire table. Or you do the thing which I think is a skill, and I mastered over many, many years, and you force that fluid down. Now at this point, most normal, sensible people would carry on with their lives, wouldn't they? Pick up the conversation. Everything would be great. Not Mary. Oh, no, not me. Because now I have an audience. And what did I say to my almost entirely male, geeky friendship group at the time? Every time this happened? Don't worry, lads. I always swallow. I mean, I hear it now, but honestly, it took years for that penny to drop. And when it finally did, I was so, repulsed. All you really need to know is, yes, I am a lesbian. I've been out clothes shopping recently, and I have a kind of love-hate relationship with clothes. I mean, they stop you getting arrested in public, and they're useful, and I genuinely like, dressing up and all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot of women's clothes I won't wear because I'm not what you might call stereotypically feminine. I I don't like pink and I don't like flowers and I won't have something with frills. For the love of God, give me proper pockets. What is it with women's clothes and pockets? If they're even, even actually real, they're so tiny, all you can get in there is like a non-applicator tampon. And if you do, for God's sake, don't sit down. As soon as you sit down, it's popped out, rolled on the floor, you can never see that again. Men's trousers, on the other hand, pockets so large, you can get a mobile phone, a bunch of keys, wallet, a spare change. You've still got some space in there, have a quick fumble when you're bored, haven't you? I have a theory. And my theory is that this is a conspiracy by handbag manufacturers. Oh, love, you've not got proper pockets. Don't worry, have a lovely handbag. Look, it matches your shoes. Yes, I know it's 70 quid, but doesn't it look lovely? I can't carry a handbag. I look like I was in really half-assed drag. And besides, you know what happens, don't you? If you are the person in a group carrying a handbag, right? Everybody else puts their shit in it. This is true. This is totally. All the women in the auditorium. Yeah, that's totally true. That's totally true. You're out there and they go, oh, Mum, can I just put a mobile in your bag? Please. Or can I just put this thing I bought in your handbag? I didn't want to buy a plastic bag because the environment. Or the best one. Can I put this really heavy hardback book I just bought in Waterstones? Oh, thanks, love you. Do you know how I know this is true? Because that's what I do. Oh, yes. So, I've been with my wife for over 10 years. We've been married for just over 9 now. And, oh, thanks. That's very polite. Yeah. She's very lucky to have her. No, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky to have her. And over the course of these 10 years, we have slowly realised that every single person in our joint families is neurodiverse, except for her. Let me give you a little bit of context. Catherine is a specialist autism teacher for Birmingham City Council, so she really knows her shit here. And I think that for her, that means that living with us is a little bit like that woman in the 70s who lived with gorillas. However, for us, she's the special needs kid. Oh, yes. I find myself watching her. Shouldn't do it, she's in the audience. She shouldn't do it. She's heard it before, it's fine. But I find myself watching her doing things and thinking to myself, why are you doing it like that when I do it the right way? It would be so much more efficient if you did it the way I do it, properly. And every now and then, I can't keep it in. I know I should. And I'll stand there, and she'll be chopping carrots or something innocuous, and I'll go, darling, I love you. What? Why are you doing it like that? And at this point, she will do one of two things. She will either go, fuck off, which is fair. Let's be honest, it's fair. Or she will say something which, quite frankly, strikes terror into my heart. She'll look up and go, oh, then I wasn't thinking. I'm sorry? Do you mean to tell me that you don't have some kind of subroutine running in your background of your brain, like doing a diagnostic constantly, going, oh, you can't put that up, no, you can do that better. Next time you know what you should have done, don't you? Apparently not. Neurotypicals have what they like to think of as autopilot. It's terrifying. Why is this terrifying? Because if you believe what we're told, and that neurotypicals are the majority of the population, likely, that means that they are running shit. And half the time, they have no idea what they're doing. Not a clue. So, how is it, I wonder, that society hasn't already completely ground to a halt? Well, I've decided I've worked out how. And that's because we have stealth neurospices in all the important places. Do you need to stop aeroplanes flying into one another? Get yourself an autistic. Absolutely. No margin for error, got it nailed. Or maybe crisis management. Crisis management is a really skilled thing. You need someone with lots of experience. In which case, you need someone with ADHD. We live in constant crisis, and quite frankly, managing yours is a hell of a lot easier than dealing with theirs. It comes to think of it, how did civilization ever get up off its collective arse from its cosy campfire, having small talk, and spread across the globe? Well, I think it's because all the ADHD kids were running around going, "What's over there? What does this do? Does anybody have any idea where the buffalo go at the end of it? I'm going to follow them." And actually, how come they had a fire in the first place? There is only one kind of person who exists, who has the tenacity, the sticking power, to sit there and bang together two stones for hour upon hour. Admittedly, they're probably only doing it because it made a really cool sound. But eventually they got a spark, and they did it again, and again, and again, and you can be absolutely confident that fire was brought to the human race courtesy of autism. So the next time you find yourself, dreading that family get-together because there's the uncle with his train set and you don't want to talk to him, or, rolling your eyes because yet another comedian has come out about their ADHD diagnosis, or, some random woman offers you a cherry at a dinner party, just remember, we're the reason you're all still alive.